Some stories make you shiver. Some make you question what's real. Here you'll get both. Welcome to Eerily Entertaining, where the strange, the chilling, and the unexplained come to life. Years ago when I was a teenager, my friend Justin and I would often go longboarding at night. We were night owls. The quiet freedom of almost empty roads and trails was addictive. Even on main roads, cars were rare. You could hear them from afar, their headlights cutting through the darkness. We loved it. Miles and miles of pavement, the world silent around us, sometimes riding until the sun came up. One night, we decided to venture a few miles from our usual route. We wanted to hit a hidden path that ran between two sides of a long, narrow lake. It was usually underwater after rain. But the path was dry that night. The path was roughly 2 miles long, peaceful, perfect for longboarding. After the lake, we turned onto a trail that led into a densely wooded preservation. As we crested the first hill, we noticed something strange. A tiny dim light moved at the bottom of the slope. It flickered strangely, almost unnaturally. We didn't shine our flashlights. We just watched, whispering guesses to each other. Then suddenly, the single light multiplied. Blinding lights appeared. Engines roared, loud, furious. Our quiet night exploded into chaos. Fear took over. We ran. We darted off the path into a dark, overgrown embankment. We crouched into a natural dugout, hoping the bushes would hide us. From our hiding spot, we watched 4 men. 2 rode 4-wheelers, 2 rode full-sized motorcycles. They yelled at each other, but we couldn't hear the words. Then they called out, "We know you're out here. Come out." We whispered, speculating who they could be. Maybe park rangers? It didn't make sense. They weren't dressed for patrol, and no county budget supported nighttime ranger patrols this deep in the woods. Then one yelled, "Find them now." We heard the smash of glass. They split up, riding down separate trails, including the one we had come from. Time slowed. We stayed frozen, hearts hammering, waiting for the lights to pass. Even when the lights faded, fear kept us from moving. Eventually, we worked up the nerve to run again. We darted through the woods, hiding when the headlights returned. The woods thinned. Hiding spots became sparse. Leaves and bushes offered almost no cover, but we had no choice. Finally, we emerged onto a road intersection, far from the lake path. We ducked into a ditch and called for help. My phone showed missed calls from our friend Connor. I told him where we were. He was just a few miles away, heading towards us. Minutes later, he arrived. We dove into the back seat, yelling for him to leave fast. The relief of being safely driven away is hard to describe. Once home, we told Connor everything. We didn't call the police. By the time they arrived, the men would be gone, and we had already broken the law by being there at night. We never saw who those men were or why they chased us. Some friends think it might have been a drug deal. Justin and I, in the heat of the moment, imagined a horror movie scenario. Chainsaw, masked killers, whatever it was, we escaped. I grew up in the countryside, right next to a national park, frequently visited by nature lovers and bird enthusiasts. It was the kind of park where biking or horseback riding was not allowed, only walking or running. But 10-year-old me thought that rule was stupid, and I broke it anyway. I knew I wasn't supposed to. For it. I was caught a few times. Nothing much came out of it. Just a half-hearted, "don't do it again." And of course, I did it again. Until one day, something happened that made me stop. My family were horse breeders, so I often took one of the horses for a ride, usually in the forbidden park. It was very early morning, the first day of summer. The air was misty, foggy, yet the sky promised a sunny day. Before 6 o'clock, I knew the trails would be empty, so I let the horse gallop full speed. I only slowed down at steep sections, by the river. One misstep there could have been fatal, even for a kid with almost no sense of risk. Suddenly the horse stopped, refused to take another step. I grew up with horses. I knew that usually meant something was wrong. Hooves were fine, but the horse wouldn't move. That's when I saw it. A thin, sharp metal wire stretched across the trail, perfectly at neck height for an adult. I looked around, no one in sight. The wire was well attached to 2 trees. Impossible to remove. I carefully led the horse around it, walking into the woods beside the trail. That's when I heard it, singing. A familiar melody, but the lyrics were twisted, muffled. I only remember fragments now. Translated, it would have sounded like, "Hey, all you runners, come here passing. Let the life blood pour out." I froze, heart in my throat. Then, as silently as possible, I backed away, got back on the horse, and hurried back the way I came. I knew I had to tell someone, but I didn't want to admit to riding a huge, forbidden horse in the park. Old stories come back to me, tales of a mad old man living in a shed in the woods. The shed had once been a hunter's cottage. I got home and told my older brother. He went back with me. We found a wire trap. After searching, we also found a spear-like pole in the ground, right where someone would land if they ran and jumped over a fallen tree on the trail. That's when we called the police. The area was searched. Several similar traps were found, but no sign of the old man. The following summer, the local paper reported dangerous discoveries. Spear-like poles found just underwater. Spear-like poles found just under the water surface, directly beneath the little diving tower at the lake. Black garbage bags filled with rocks were found on the narrow bridge crossing the river. If a car had hit them, it would have gone off the road, into the water. I never rode in that park again, and I never forgot the sound of that twisted singing in the early morning mist. I'm a long-haul trucker. I see and deal with a lot of weird and scary stuff on the road. This one happened on US 93 in Nevada. I was headed to Portland, Oregon, for a delivery. It was around 1:30 in the morning. I needed to take a half-hour break and log my hours. I found a wide spot and pulled off. Did my logs, made myself a sandwich. While I was eating, I noticed a vehicle pulling behind me. At first, I wasn't too concerned. I kept one eye on it as I ate. Then it got strange. I saw a figure in the vehicle's headlights, approached the back, driver's side of my trailer. He stopped and started rubbing the side of my trailer with his hand. Suspicious, I grabbed my pistol from the lockbox in my sleeper, cocked it, locked it, slid it behind my waistband. I climbed out of the rig, hand on the gun, flashlight in the other. I walked about 10 feet back, flicked the light on, and aimed it at the figure. It was a man, weird looking, dirty, whitish trench coat, long strangly hair, bald on top. He was rubbing something on my trailer. I hollered at him to stop. He looked up, smirked, and without breaking eye contact, started walking towards me. I backed towards my door, hand on my pistol, but not drawing it. I climbed back into my rig, shut and locked the door. The dude walked up to my door, looked up at me, still smirking. I thought, what the hell? This dude's off his rocker. I was ready to leave. My half-hour break was over. Time to go. Then my truck rocked. I jumped, looked into the driver's side mirror. Nothing. I glanced at the passenger side mirror. There she was, face pressed to my passenger side window. A freaky, perfect replica of an old witch. Rotten teeth, smiling, cocking her head left then right, fogging up my window. Needless to say, I almost fell out of my seat. But that wasn't the end. Oh no. That man jumped onto my driver's side step and started licking my window. Then the witch on the passenger side started smacking the glass with her palm, over and over. The dude yelled, "Hey boy, open up. Come on now. We are friendly. What you got in that trailer? Anything good? Open up, boy." Now I felt truly threatened. I drew my pistol. The witch immediately disappeared from the passenger side. The man laughed, jumped up and down on my step, grinned, touched his finger to his nose, and then he jumped off. I fired up my truck and took the hell off. Never saw headlights following me. Thank God. That night, I didn't sleep much, and I still think about those two. That freaky man and the witch-like woman. You never know what you might run into on the road. Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share these stories with someone who thinks they sleep too easily at night.